My last video on ImmunityBio was about a month ago, which you can see right here. And at that time, the stock was trading at $2.29. Today, the stock is trading at $5.52. You can actually see that even the after hours price is actually significantly more. It's at $6.04. And we can see right here that the share price has skyrocketed 161% over the last month. Patrick Soon-Shiong is the majority shareholder and holds 29% of the stock individually, which we can see here. He also controls and manages these two LLCs, California Capital Equity LLC and NantWorks LLC. And Patrick Soon-Shiong has a net worth of $5.9 billion according to Forbes. And in summary, he's amassed this fortune by building out pharmaceuticals from scratch and then selling them on, and he's back again, this time doing it with ImmunityBio. And so back to the stock price, which we saw has skyrocketed over 160% over the last month, and this has everything to do with a number of announcements they've made simultaneously on their website over the last few days. Earlier this week, Saudi FDA grants accelerated approval to ImmunityBio's Anktiva for non-muscular invasive bladder cancer with carcinoma in situ, adding to existing Anktiva NMIBC approvals in the US and UK and conditional approval in the European Union. The Saudi FDA's action reflects ImmunityBio's mission to provide access to patients globally with a potentially bladder surgery sparing option. And so this refers to the treatment in the pipeline, which you can see right here, which, as they've mentioned, has already been approved in the US and the UK with conditional approval in the EU as well. The Saudi FDA also granted approval to this treatment as well. Saudi FDA grants accelerated approval to ImmunityBio's Anktiva in combination with checkpoint inhibitors for metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. And so this corresponds to the treatment that you can see in their pipeline right here, which is actually in phase 3 at the moment in the US. And so effectively, we've seen this share price skyrocket because they've had two of these accelerated approvals from the Saudi government or the Saudi royal family. We can see that both these announcements were made on the 14th of January, which is why we've seen this major share price spike. Now, the significance of this approval right here for the non-small cell lung cancer Anktiva is that Saudi Arabia is the first country to actually approve this treatment in the world. All of this came after ImmunityBio announced the inaugural US and Saudi BIOTECH Alliance Summit to advance immunotherapy 2.0 and global health security. It was co-chaired by Her Royal Highness Dr. Haya bint Khaled Al Saad and His Excellency Dr. Bandar Al Knawi and Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. It brought together national government, scientific and investment leaders from the United States and Saudi Arabia. And in simple terms, the US-Saudi BIOTECH Alliance Summit was about ImmunityBio lining up capital from Saudi Arabia, aligning governments and aligning on manufacturing in Saudi Arabia in order to bring Anktiva to the market. And so this is one of the critical things to consider for ImmunityBio shareholders. You know, it was co-chaired by royalty, which we can see right here, and Patrick Soon-Shiong. You know, he has contacts in high places, key decision makers who can open up opportunities for him to bring his products, you know, the treatments that he's developing at the moment to market. You know, the Saudi royal family control legislation, they make executive decisions and they're able to fast track decisions at their discretion. And they're in charge of major policy decisions around healthcare and pharmaceuticals as well. And so once the government has approved the therapy, it can be rapidly adopted across the country rather than gradually rolling it out hospital by hospital. You know, there's far less bureaucracy simply because there are executive decision makers across the board in Saudi Arabia, which means that there is the high possibility of huge adoption of Anktiva very rapidly in Saudi Arabia. And in turn, this is going to have a huge impact on the revenue generated by ImmunityBio, and in turn, this will correlate to a continued increase in the share price over the longer term. I do anticipate that after this major hype, this major announcement, we will see the share price go back to a bit more of a reasonable level. But for me, you know, as a long-term investor in ImmunityBio, I mean, really focused on the longer term with this stock, you know, I'm hugely excited with this news, obviously, but I'm also looking to the future because I know that there are going to be a lot more positive announcements over the next year or so, which in turn is going to correlate to a higher share price as well. On top of this, ImmunityBio reported continued execution and sales momentum with a 700% increase year over year, and Anktiva unit growth, 750% unit sales volume growth in 2025 compared to 2024. And so looking to the future, we're really in a very exciting transitionary stage for ImmunityBio. You know, they've already demonstrated proof of concept with their treatments with these sales figures. They're entering into this new market in Saudi Arabia, and we've got revenue to look forward to coming into the company from Saudi Arabia too, which hasn't yet been announced or registered. And so looking at the next year or so, you know, this is going to be a hugely exciting time for the company. We have these 2 approved treatments in Saudi Arabia, in a country where there is far less bureaucracy, and so the adoption will be a lot quicker, and in turn with that adoption will come a lot more revenue for the company. ImmunityBio are showing real commercial traction with these financial results that I mentioned earlier, the 700% increase year over year in Anktiva sales, the 750% unit sales growth as well. And with ImmunityBio receiving conditional marketing authorization recommendation from the European Medicines Agency for Anktiva with BCG for non-muscular invasive bladder cancer carcinoma in situ, a first in Europe. This actually refers to this treatment right here. And so the key thing to note is that this is all revenue that's going to be coming, that's going to be announced in the future, whether it's this announcement of the marketing authorization that you can see right here in Europe, which is in relation to this treatment right here in their pipeline, or the announcements of these 2 fast track approvals in Saudi Arabia, which again is future revenue which has not yet been confirmed. And so this is where the huge opportunity is with shareholders, you know, as someone who's holding the stock right now. You know, would I be going into the stock right now at its current price? No, that's just my investment strategy. You know, I like to identify the stocks before the announcements. And so with ImmunityBio right now, you know, it's a really exciting time. I think the next year or so is going to be great to see as someone who's holding the stock now, who's been holding the stock for some time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this transition that's taking place with this company. And so naturally, I'll keep you updated with ImmunityBio and any news, any opportunities to get into the stock at good prices too. And I'll continue to update on the other stocks that I track on this channel and any other opportunities that I come across as well. But look, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.